Hey everybody, how are we doing? It's Tim Shaw here tonight, and you're in the Black Cat Lounge. Where else? Where are we located? People want to know. Where all you got to do is just put your nose up there and smell for the aromatic fragrance of next to the dumpster station. That's all. We're right next door to it because that's what famous people all want to hang out at. Nobody wants to go and be seen at these big, expensive places. They all want to go to the hole in the wall where the people are real and they're as beautiful as me and our guest tonight. That's the way it is. But hey, how's everybody doing out there? I mean, I'm getting like all sorts of crazy reports. The COVID is hitting, but yeah, it's kind of like leveling off a little bit across the country. But what about the South? Holy cow. I mean, I just heard from my buddy Barry Kling from Ghost Lab when we were all on Discovery together. He was telling me that they got hit hard, and now there's no snow where he lives, and he still has power. He's lucky because there's so many people out there that have no power, and I'm reading all over the place on the internet. People actually had to go into their cars to get warm during the night, and that's brutal. Because I remember being up here during one of the emergencies. I got stuck on the New York State Thruway for about, 6-7 hours in a snowstorm. Got off, and I had a choice of either turning right and going to my house and knowing that I probably wouldn't get the car all the way there and have to walk home, or push my way. If I turned left, push my way through, and then, hope that some of the major intersections going to like our hospitals and that were open, and they were. So, I ended up working, I think 72 hours straight, and there was no power. And I had 2 feet of water in my basement, and my new furnace, which was 2 weeks old. It was like that far away from the electronics. It was an experience. It was an experience. So like everybody send a little healing, a little love down south because they need it. And, it's because it's tough when you're not used to this. All us hardy people up here in New York State and Michigan and Wisconsin and Minnesota, everybody's going, that ain't nothing. If you don't have the plows and the salt and everything to keep it going, and let's face it, that ice gets on those power lines. I remember trying to get to work and driving around the power lines that were still live, and you could see them glowing blue off to the side, and you were trying to make, I knew that since I had the wheels on the car, I didn't have to, the rubber wheels, tires. Yeah, I'm an author. I know how to talk. The tires, they were grounding. So long as it wasn't live and it didn't hit the chassis of the car, I knew I wasn't going to get electrocuted. But it's a scary proposition. And when you have no power, it's tough. It is tough. And generators, forget about it. They're the first things to go. That's the worst. That's the absolute worst. But anyway, I had some really cool stuff going on this week. It was really great. Of course, it was Nancy's birthday. I want to thank everybody for wishing her a happy birthday. It made her day, and she was so happy. And I got her, make a long story short, there was a crying female in the house that her snowshoes rotted out. They were only about 25, 30 years old, And so I got her a new pair of snowshoes, and Sunday we were out there shoeing around, and hopefully today this week, later on this week, we'll be out again because we got about 10 inches of snow here, so it's not too bad. But esoterically, let me tell you guys, I found another box full of photographs and haunted objects, a lot of like stones. I shouldn't say stones, but like gravel and pieces of rock that I see on ink that people have written where they're from. And I got some things from Mexico and Central America, which are really cool to have. I'm trying to think where else. I got some other pieces in there that people have sent me. And I've been out, and it's a sad day in Black Rock, guys. I got outbid at an auction for a Ouija board. I can't break that 63 number. I can't break it. 63 Ouija boards in the house. I can't break it. I'm trying to get one more. Get me into an even number. Retrograde will disappear if I can get one more Ouija board into my collection. But yeah, so it was a sad day, but you know how these things go. But I have a couple other feelers out there looking for things. And I got a lead on a haunted doll that a friend of mine actually stumbled across in a thrift store, and he took a recorder. I'm not sure if he had a recorder or if he had a scanner box, and he went and he did a couple quick tests in the store, and he got like swearing or something on there. So it's probably about an hour and a half away. So hopefully maybe next week I'll take a run out there. I'll ask him if it's still there. If it's still there, we'll have to go and see it. And there's a lot of people in the chat room today. I want to say hello to everybody. And my friend Olivia, she's recovering well from some major surgery. So everybody is very, very happy, and she's doing so good. She had some pretty tough surgery. And Stephen is here from the Buckland Museum of what else? Witchcraft and Magic in Cleveland, Ohio. So anybody gets a chance to get out there, please, people, go see him. Go see him. Mention my name. It won't get you a free pass, but mention my name. Makes me feel good when you do that. And Commander Bill Randall's in the room. Permission to come aboard, Bill. Thank you so much. And well, hello to everybody. And Steven's yelling, it's Mardi Gras, woohoo. Let the good times roll. It's too cold for me to run around in skyclad in a diaper or anything this year. Too cold for that. Too cold for it. So we'll just hold off for that. But hey, I want to bring my guest out tonight. I love this. You know, it's so funny because I think, if I'm not mistaken, I saw someone was advertising, or somebody bought this book. And, you know, I went and I said, that looks interesting. That really looks like an interesting book. And I sent for it to Amazon. You know, that's where I get my stuff, you know. So the author got 15 cents for the book out of my pocket. You know how these things are. Royalties are royalties. I got a royalty check for $17 this year. I am not spending it all in one place. I will tell you that right now. And I have coupons. So guess what? I can have 2 dinners at McDonald's instead of 1. But, you know, it was funny because I'm pretty critical about books. You know, you guys know when I moved, I gave like 175 books away. I used to get them all the time for free, you know, when I would do an interviewer and I interview or two in the old shows. And, you know, and I went and I'd get these books and I'd read them and go, wow, this is like chopped up, old, beat up, old knowledge, not even rewritten well. And this book, I'm going to come right out and say it's like totally amazing. Look at that. See the highlights? I showed the author this the other day. See the highlights? I don't highlight a book if I think it sucks, because that takes out the resale value. I'm not going to lie to you. You know, I give them to my friend Joe at Paranormal Oddities in Depew, New York, in between the skyscrapers. And but I mean, I love this book. This book covers so much. We've got to talk about this book. I was so thrilled. And she has this fun question and answer show every 2 weeks. And I shared it. So some of you guys actually saw it on my page and my Facebook page. And it's so interesting. And I'm sitting there going, I didn't know that. That's not the way because everybody's taught different ways. And it's fantastic. We'll talk about that too, because I really want you guys to hop on her show. Now, our guest today was born in Cuba. She is a natural medium. I want to talk to her about that because that's sort of interesting to me. I was sort of the same way, and I feel that a lot of people were born into this. Her family was extremely spiritual. I mean, we'll talk about all the different religious influences she's had, because I mean, I love the whole idea of like having that full spectrum of experience. She's an Air Force veteran. I salute you. She's a registered nurse. So don't mess with her, because she knows all the bad points to hit where she can control you and drop you to your knees. I love the fact that she has an unbelievable strict code of ethics, which I love. I absolutely love. I've got this whole thing here written because I can't remember everything about her. You know, she's not one of these one-faceted guests that I can just go and say, oh, she's just, just cool chick from Detroit, Michigan, No, she studied so many different traditions. She's a root worker and a hoodoo practitioner. She's an animal lover. Oh, she loves her German Shepherd. She's like me with Labrador retrievers, and her shepherds are absolutely beautiful. They're just absolutely beautiful. And much like my own philosophy, this is it. And this is something that we talked about just briefly off the air. We never stop learning. Life is, after all, a learning experience. Damn it. I've been telling you people that for how long? And you don't listen. You don't listen. Well, Amy listens. Amy's in the room from Hull House. She's in the room. Steven's in the room. He listens once in a while to me. So really, and forgive me guys for murdering her name, because man brain, I was walking around today shouting out her name so that I didn't mispronounce it, and I just did it again. So anyway, please, everybody, let's just welcome probably one of the most interesting people that I've met in a very, very long time, and we kind of really hit it off, which scares the hell out of me. Anyway, please welcome Miss Aida. Hey, Miss Aida, how are you tonight? Did I get it right? Oh, hold on. Did I get it right, Miss Aida?
Oh my God, twice. Excellent.
That's it. You're not going to get it. You're not going to get it anymore. That's it.
Come on, 3 times the charm.
I got to tell you what, I am so thrilled that you're on tonight, because people don't get it. I mean, I love finding people who are of the same caliber. I won't say caliber, the same mindset that I'm in. And that's kind of strange and unusual in its own way. And the other night we sat and we talked. We were testing out the system and everything, and we talked. We must have talked for about an hour and a half. And the problem was we could have probably went and talked for another 2 hours solid without even trying. Oh my God! Now, Miss, I'm hold on. I almost said it wrong. Hold on, I almost said it wrong. Miss Aida, I got it right. Aida. Okay, Miss Aida. Let's talk about your early experiences, because I mean, a lot of people see. You know what I find is a lot of people come into the mystic arts, come into these different philosophies and traditions later in life, like in their 30s, or late 20s, 30s, 40s. Some people even later than that, and it's usually a rebellion against the Judeo-Christian stuff that most of them have been, pablum fed most of their whole lives. But with you, it's a whole different story. Tell everybody, how you came about working with hoodoo and your early years.
Okay, I'll start with my early years and then move forward to hoodoo. So I was born in a household that practiced santeria, they practiced brujeria, they practiced palo. And as a child, I always thought that my family was extremely weird. They shoved everything down my throat. And, as a child, you become rebellious. In fact, Tim, you said that. You said some people become rebellious in their elder years. I became rebellious in my younger years. But as time progressed, I started paying attention and honoring my roots and everything else. And the problem with santeria and palo is for me, are a lot of animal sacrifices, which
correct. Right. I do know we have I know high priest. I can't remember the name. Baba, I think that's what they're called. I can never say it. And that was always something that, while I respect it, I do respect it. However, that was the one thing that kind of pushed me away from that study.
Right. And some people can get excessive with it, and actually the true practitioners, they don't do it as frequently as others do. So, oh, well, look at that. Thank you. Please thank your father, Chuck. Thank you.
But Chuck is my Marine sergeant that I performed his. I officiated his wedding to his lovely wife way back when, and yeah, I love it. And Chuck's a drummer. He's the guy that infected me with the drumming bug. So
wow.
We have to blame Chuck for that.
I was aeromedical evacuation, and I'm 65. I'll be 65 next month, so I'm very familiar with Vietnam. Anyway, back to as I got older, here comes our movie star. I apologize. He's always trying to be in the So I didn't agree with all the animal sacrifices. So later on, I discovered hoodoo. And I took to it like a fish into water because animal sacrifices are not required. And what I loved about hoodoo is that its initial derivatives are from Africa. So hoodoo is a folkloric magical belief system, and it is referred to as an African derivative tradition, whereas Santeria and Palo are magical religious practices, and they are also referred to as African traditional religions. So hoodoo came pretty easy because I was very familiar with most of it. And again, no animal sacrifices, which was wonderful for me. The very last time I ever attempted to do an animal sacrifice, oh, thank you, Olivia, but I always tell people I'm older than dinosaur shit and beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So, but thank you, sweetheart. I forgot what I was saying now.
Hey, it comes with age. It comes with age with the two of us.
I know. So now my age is showing. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, well, that's normal. Okay, Miss Aida. I'm working on that.
4 times now.
I'm getting 4 times. That's it. It was interesting to me that you had said in when I read in your bio about being a natural medium, and I feel that a lot of people are natural mediums. I'm just going to go out there and say it. Everybody's a natural medium. Everybody needed it during that hunter-gatherer stage. Here's my thing. I want to ask you, do you feel that the mediumship works hand in hand with hoodoo? Do you feel that it's really part of it? Because I know some religions do kind of work together with it, and other ones are sort of like, it's okay if you do it under the auspices. Let's say the Shakers, prophecy is okay, but it has to be with a Shaker elder. It can't be with a normal population. So do you feel that it's helped, or it kind of like is all connected?
I can't speak for other people. I can only speak for myself. And for me, yes, absolutely. But I can't speak for other people. Hello. Oh, Marla Brooks is here. Yay. I love Marla.
My little sister's in the house. Did you know that my little sister is like 4'5", and when she used to 10 bar, she used to have 6-inch heels, and then she'd have a little ramp to get up to the top so people could see her. And she used to have a beehive hairdo too. So that's
no.
that's our Marla Brooks. No, I have to agree with you 100% because I always felt that any of the mystical religions had to rely on having something that kind of directed you, or you were able to do that communication, that two-way communication with ancestors, or the natural elements. It's something that a lot of people, even now, I hate to say it, in some of the New Age traditions, they don't have it. They leave that out, and
coming back. It's coming back into hoodoo.
Is it really good? Good. That's something that I wanted to. That's something that's really interesting.
That is, you can't. It's to the point that it's gotten too far. It's become excessive, And I disagree with that also. So you got to find a middle road. You have to find a middle road.
Agreed.
You know,
I agree.
as you said, it went away. Now it's coming back. It's on the other end of the continuum. And you just can't be a practitioner and depend on that exclusively. I hear people nowadays, you know, the people that are new to these practices, well, my ancestors this and my ancestors that, and et cetera, et cetera. And wow, it's like, no, I mean, it sounds obsessive to me.
Agreed.
You got to find a midway point. But
Right.
I don't work with them that often. I have something that's called a bovida, and it's an altar, and it's got 9 glasses, and I honor my ancestors and my spirit guides and my saints. I honor everybody there, and I ask them for their help. But I don't call upon my mother or my grandmother to do everything. I don't
Right.
consult with them to do everything. And that's where I find a problem. You know, things have to be done in moderation. And because ancestral worship has now become a fad in hoodoo. Hi, Justin. Justin Davenport, spelled Gustin. I don't know why, but he is my right hand man. He's just wonderful. He's a hoodoo practitioner also. But it's starting to scare people away from the practices because it's a misperception that one has to depend on their ancestors for everything. And
Correct.
That's just not necessary.
Well, let's even talking about a bigger misconception, because I know like voodoo is a tradition of the downtrodden, where a lot of the deities are hidden behind the names of Christian saints.
As is Santeria.
Right, right. Now, I've never really felt comfortable with that because of the fact that I feel that Christian saints, you don't have to hide behind it, because there's some badass Christian saints out there. And if you pray to the right ones, you find the right ones. I mean, there are saints of war. There are saints of protection of war. And all we hear is like of the fluffy bunny saints. And it's like a misconception. I feel a lot of people don't realize that hoodoo is a whole. It's not a whole different practice, but it is different from voodoo. Correct?
Right. Two different. What's the expression? 2 different ball games, 2 different ballparks. Yeah.
Yeah. Really.
Right.
But
I do have to defend what you just said, because you have to understand that when the Africans were taken away from their homeland, whether it's voodoo or Santeria or the other traditional religions, they weren't allowed to worship their own deities. So they found a similarity, or deities, however it's pronounced. I say deities. They weren't allowed to. They would be killed. So they would find the similarities between the Christian saints and their orishas, right? Or whatever it's called in voodoo. I don't know what it's called in voodoo.
That's right. You're correct.
Right. So that is how they were able to continue on with their beliefs. And it actually works. It really does. For instance, I've got statues behind me, and I don't know if you can see, there's one that's great big, it's yellow, and her name is Oshun, right? And she is a deity of Santeria. And then right next to her, there's a statue of the Virgin Caridad de Cobre. And in our beliefs, she's the same person. And I'll pray to Oshun and I'll pray to the Virgin Caridad de Cobre. Sometimes I'll refer to them by both names, and they always come through. So I just had to defend. I had to put up a...
Well, no, I mean, it's funny because some people are, but again, I mean, some people are brought up in that strict mindset. Everything is divided. Everything is, and
Right.
even as a spiritualist, as I shouldn't say as a spiritualist, because I don't belong to a church anymore or a religion. It's my philosophy. We were taught no saints, and that never made sense to me. And I'm one of those people, Miss Aisha. I'm getting it. I'm one of those people that I preach, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You don't know what you're throwing out. That's why there's a respect. And this is why I think you and I hit it off so well right in the beginning, because we do have that common feeling that we need to respect everything equally across the board. And it's funny because if I had a photograph of my deities, I have the Christ Child, I have Mary, I have Papa Canelo, I have Santa Muerte. I mean, I have all of them, Shango. I have everybody there. And I don't believe that, some people come down and see that and look in horror at it because, oh my God, it's a mishmash. But I don't consider it a mishmash. Isn't it more of an evolution that in our own private practices that we're able to go and be open enough to accept all of these practices, all of these beliefs, accept them equally and give them the proper honor equally across the board?
Absolutely. I agree. I agree 100%. People aren't going to go around honoring deities if they're bad deities. And,
Right.
And it just brings up another point, and I have it on my website. Santeria gets a bad rap. There's a lot of hearsay, if you will.
Correct.
That, the Orishas are really mean and they'll punish you, or you can't pray to them if you're not an initiate of the religion. That's all baloney, all of it, and I think a lot of times when people try to make a religion or a practice exclusive, I think that's a warning sign to be careful because you might get gypped out of money. So you
I
can't
agree.
pray. You can't pray to Oshun. Only I can pray to Oshun.
And also, I just want to let everybody know that in this book, she covers so much about different religions and cults, which is something that is like people have got to watch. And she just hit Miss Aisha, you just hit on a big point. You can get sucked out of money. And let's face it, it doesn't have to be a Christian cult, it doesn't have to be any particular cult, but it can, you need that common sense. And I think that your deity gives that common sense to you. And I think that's why we need that spirituality in order to keep us grounded rather than being, well, like the late Ray Buckland always says, these fluffy bunnies, they don't know which way to go. And I have to agree with that. Now, you know what? We're going to take a 15 or a 30-second little break to pay some bills. And then we're going to come back, and then we're going to go and we're going to actually get into some of the nitty gritty. We're going to get into some nitty gritty.
I don't have to pay anybody. I don't want to pay anybody. You're going to pay.
I should listen. The check's in the mail, Miss Aisha. Don't worry about it. You're listening to You're watching the Black Cat Lounge. Our guest, Miss Aisha, is on, and we're going to take a little break before I pee myself. Okay. The Black Cat Lounge is brought to you by Paranormal Oddities, the little store with the big heart. Patronus Photographic, fine art, photography, and design. Nancy's Sewing Room, aprons, masks, and handmade purses. And Wild Raven, hand-poured candles for those magical times. And we're back. Poof, it's like magic. We're back here at the Black Cat Lounge. Our guest tonight is who else? Miss Aisha. I love her so much. You guys love her. How can you not love her? She's adorable. She's knowledgeable. And if you piss her off, there's parts of your body that will shrivel up like a toad. And we'll talk about that in a few seconds, too. Welcome back.
You keep making me laugh. I can't talk.
Well, that's the problem with us because we get along so well. It's like you gotta enjoy it. But that's something else that's so important because when I was watching your question and answer, and you guys seriously, every 2 weeks, Miss Aisha has this great half hour of information that she puts out there. She talks about spells and how to do different things, and she's laughing and she's giggling sometimes. I always tell everybody, you got to take the duct tape off your ass in order to go and relax a little bit. Really, think about it. You got to relax a little bit. If you're going to be good at something, you have to be natural, and you can't be all tense. There's nothing worse than I remember standing up there in a gallery one day, and it looked like everybody had to go and take a bowel movement because they're all like this, like beep, beep, So I mean, you got to relax with it. I think that is what is so important about it. And I love that. So, Miss Aida, we got to go and let's talk a little bit about how can we get rid of this negativity around us. Now, I was always taught a lot of it was external. You kind of walk around and there are just so many people out there that are either energy vampires or just nasty, miserable. And, their auric field rubs into yours and you can pick stuff up from them and stuff. But also there's people out there that I feel are just, they complain about different things and they're just negative. They're just very negative.
Themselves.
Yeah. And then they, and then of course, when you call them on it or whatever, they become victims and that sort of thing. So what's a good way to really go and rid that negativity from you?
Well, I mean, that's a pretty broad question. So if they're minor nuisances, so for instance, me, I am the world's slowest driver. I've always been. And for many, many years, old men with hats on would pass me up and give me the finger, right? And that still continues to this day because I'm a slow driver. And those are the type of minor nuisances. So, I come home in a bad mood. Everybody's giving me the finger. People are rolling the window down. They're swearing at me. So, in a situation like that, or if I get into an argument with my boss, something minor, and you just feel like crap, you feel angry, if it's a 1 or 2 time incident, I would spray myself with Florida water, or I would spray myself with holy water and probably say a prayer and put some music on, try to get some light, preferably sunlight. But those are the type of minor nuisances that if you don't do something about it, if you don't surround yourself with people or external stimuli that will brighten your aura again, then what happens is your aura becomes more and more suppressed, because naturally, if you're in a bad mood and you don't do anything about it, and negativity begets more negativity, right?
Correct.
And you start out with an aura that's bright and shiny, and Tim, you give me the finger and you tell me how ugly I am and you call me dirty names and you tell everybody I'm awful, and then you keep saying, and my aura's getting more and more and more and more and more suppressed, right? What can eventually happen is you can get tears or holes in your aura.
Right.
So
right.
the best thing, and I guess Barney Fife on what is Andy Griffith's show? Nip it in the bud, right? Take a bath with salt water, and it doesn't have to be a lot of salt. Please no, maybe a tablespoon of sea salt in a bathtub of water, singing some songs, and nip it in the bud, because if you don't, things are going to get progressively worse, and that's human nature.
Right.
You have to identify the problem. What caused me to come home and start screaming at people and getting very mad at them?
But isn't that part of like self-responsibility? And I was taught early on that in any spiritual practice, you have got to have that responsibility for your own actions, your own thoughts. In the spiritualist terms, we're taught that all things are vibratory in nature. Thus, thoughts are vibratory in nature. Emotions are vibratory in nature, and they can go and affect other people. So
Right.
if
But
you're miserable, you've got to kind of accept it and figure out why.
right, but I have to come to the defense of these people. If they don't know why or how, then
Hmm.
what happens? They end up feeling helpless and hopeless. So, I mean, that's part of the reason that I wrote this book. I'm telling people how things can happen, why things happen, why you're being affected this way or that way, and what you can do. But the first thing that you have to do is identify the problem, but not taking responsibility, in my opinion, is not an act of negligence. It's an act of not knowing any better.
No, you're right about that. I think too many people out there have never been sat down and taught uh, about it. Really, when you think about it, I mean, think back about some of the clients that you've had that have come to you that are suffering from this. And I just don't believe that their parents or grandparents or guardians ever taught them that they need to go and they have to be the shepherd of their own well-being.
Right, right. Exactly. Yeah, you hit the nail right on the head. That's
And that's what
exactly it.
people need to do that. And people, I think that people like us can go and we can suggest different things. We can work on their behalf. We can do whatever for them. But the biggest problem that I see is that they're not getting it. Because it's a strange and unusual concept that they're just not. They've got to relearn it. I know, like in negative hauntings, we have to go in and 5% of it is walking in with a meter. Another 5% is doing the communication back and forth, but 90% is re-educating the people on what's going on and their responsibility of dealing with the situation. Because people like us, we can go and we can cleanse, we can work for them, and then we have other things we must do. We can't stay there 24/7.
Right.
So they need to be able to take that responsibility onto themselves, understand what's going on, understand their own being, and then you start seeing all this activity or all this negativity, or they're all of a sudden they've got their kick me signs that are falling off their back, uh, because they are learning how to spiritually be strong again and empowered. Empowered is the big thing. And
Exactly. Empowerment.
yeah, and people aren't getting that. People don't get that. Now, I have another question.
First response if there's a poltergeist activity in a home. I'm not a paranormal investigator, but I would assume that if I didn't know any better, right, and something started happening, I'd be running for my life. I'd be in trouble, right? I mean, you have this helplessness and hopelessness. It's fear
Exactly.
of the unknown.
Exactly. And I'll be honest with you, I probably have a pair of Depends on right now, just to let you know. because because listen, I doesn't I was brought up doing the spirit rescue circle thing and everything, but I won't lie to you. I've been in some locations where I've been there by myself and it was like feet don't fail me now on the way out. I won't lie to you about that at all, because it becomes overwhelming sometimes. It
Right.
really does.
Right.
But yeah, it's a great point. Now, here's something else. A lot of people don't protect their houses, and I've always wondered about that, because a lot of people will move into a new house and okay, they'll cleanse it. And so, okay, we know the inside is all nice and shiny. Everything's ready to go. Now, we talked about this the other day, what I've done to my new house that I've in. Uh, Traditionally, a friend of mine gave me some broken gravestones. And you know what happens? They get busted up and, moved or whatever. And you can, they're just in piles at cemeteries. And they really don't care if you pick them up. So I took chunks of them and I have the gravestones on the four corners of my house. That's a warding. for me. And then I also in another tradition, I went out and I found really worn railroad spikes, wrapped them up in red ribbon. I blessed them. I did I anointed them with my Florida water mixed with Hoyt's cologne. It's a
Oh yeah,
sacrifice.
yes, yes. Well, you're a Hoodoo practitioner. I didn't know that, but anyway, go ahead.
It took me Marla will tell you, it took me quite a few years to even admit that I knew anything about witchcraft. I never really you never go and you never say a whole lot. But these were all things that I did to the house before we even moved into the house, because I believe that things should be protected. What things would you suggest that people do? And it doesn't have to be as extreme as that, but what would you suggest people do to protect their house from any kind of negativity or something nasty coming in?
Well, I mean, the first thing you have to do is cleanse the house to get rid of any lingering negativity. Now, I'm not talking about poltergeist activity. I'm not talking about, a traditional haunting. I'm just talking about the negative energy. And the first thing you would have to do is spiritually cleanse the house. And I have a recipe for Chinese wash, which is traditional in Hoodoo. And you don't have to buy the book to get the recipe for the Chinese wash. If that's all you're looking for, go to
But wait a
Amazon.
minute. It does help when you buy the book.
It does help when you buy the book.
Buy
I
the,
mean,
buy the
some
book.
people
Buy the
can't
book.
afford the book, and
Don't
I'm just
listen to her. Buy the book.
go to Amazon, and Weiser has graciously published the recipe for the Chinese wash. So if you go to Amazon and look for my book, um, you'll see all what is that stuff called, Tim, when Weiser puts up their little advertisements for the book,
Little blurbs.
blurbs, and there's a recipe for Chinese wash. So what you would need to do is wash the home with the Chinese wash, and it has ingredients in it to wash away negativity and bring in positive energies. Then I would, highly suggest that you pray certain psalms aloud. Psalm 91, it is said that is the strongest protection prayer in the Bible. And I always recommend that. If you have access to holy water or whatever one uses in their practice, I'd spray the house with holy water. And for me personally, I love the medals of Saint Benedict. Saint Benedict has fought off demonic entities and demonic energies, and I have a little medal of Saint. You can just have it over your front door, but I have it over every window and door, any entrance in my home. And there's other things, I didn't write this in the book, but alligator heads at the front door, a cup of a little votive cup filled with Florida water, and then a camphor cube. Not, when you buy them, they're square, but they're a bunch of cubes together. Just, take that off. Or better yet, one can put Vicks Vapor Rub, because Vicks Vapor Rub has camphor. So you can use that. You can go around the house and anoint everything with holy oil, with blessed oil. There's just so many things you can do. A devil's pot, it looks like the face of the devil. You can hang that over your doorway. Saint Michael, he protects against bad things. And always keep yourself cleansed. Keep yourself cleansed. And when I say that, it means spray yourself with Florida water, spray yourself with holy water, then protect yourself. I tell my clients, if they're having a hard time with bad dreams, I always start them off with, all right, rub yourself with Vicks Vapor Rub before you go to sleep. Anoint the four corners of your bed with Vicks Vapor Rub. And if you don't have pets, a little votive cup in each corner of your bedroom filled with turpentine will also
I've heard of that.
You've heard of that. So,
Yeah.
you know,
That's actually an old Pennsylvania Dutch. I've heard of
really,
them doing it. Yeah.
okay. There's just so much you can do. You can open the Bible up to Psalm. What is Florida Water asking for a friend?
That's our buddy Bill. Yeah.
So he's asking for himself, right? Because I
Yes.
always ask when I don't know something and I'm embarrassed. I say asking for a friend. So um, open the Bible, and you can get Bibles at the Dollar Tree. You don't have to. There you go. There's your answer. My right hand man, Justin, is answering your friend. Okay. So anyway, you can get Bibles at the Dollar Tree. And whenever I go to the Dollar Tree, I buy them all out. What do you need all these Bibles for? It's like, and then I'll just do one of these to freak them out. Anyway, open the Bible up to Psalm 121. Psalm 21 is frequently used to fight off entities, negative entities. And then open up your scissors, a brand new pair of sharp scissors, and put one blade and one handle part, so it's opened up on one page, over the other page, put that under your bed. So it says that, it is believe that scissors cuts away negativity.
Right.
Another thing you can do is put grains of salt underneath your bed too. It's said that entities love to count. So you can really mess them up by putting grains of whatever so that they'll get stuck counting. So there's just so many things, and I have so many protection techniques in the house, and how to spiritually cleanse your house and then to protect it. But those are just a few ideas.
I'm telling you, this book, I'm bringing it up again. This is a fantastic book. This is a book that is so encompassing that you'll read it time and time again. You're going to have dog-eared pages because you will go back and you'll be using this. And I have used, first of all, I've learned some stuff out of the book, which is like unusual because I don't usually like pay that much attention to life in general. But really, it's true. But I will tell you that I have used this, and it is phenomenal. It is just a phenomenal book. It is probably, if you're interested in doing, and I'm just gonna go right out there. I mean, this book is as good as my little sister Marla's office spells book. It's that good, and I love both of them because the actual work that you learn, you can emulate, and then it works for you. People have to get this book. I mean, that's why I'm a broken record. I don't care but this book is just a phenomenal book, and I wish more and more people would do it. Now, I want to ask you something else. Oh, the St. Benedict medal. We were talking about it yesterday, and it was so funny because a lot of people know that I had talked to Lorraine Warren. I actually got a chance to meet the late Lorraine Warren, and she loved that I knew what Polish roosters were, which was that was her pets up there in Connecticut. And when they were raising money for animal shelter, I think I overbid, or I gave something more money for a photograph, and she sent me one of her small St. Benedict medals that she used to give the clients after investigations or after they had worked in the house. And that to me is like, that's the most precious thing that I own. And I also, it's funny because now I had learned about that from an exorcist friend of mine. And he went and that's what he does. He uses St. Benedict medals and he tacks them over the doorways. And I use them constantly. I really do. I really believe that there's just so much to it. And that's why I have problems with like the spiritualist religion, because you don't throw those saints out. You don't throw baby with the bathwater. It's all energy. People are not getting that, the whole thing about the energy. And we have, Laura is excited. Learning is the best. Oh, that's great. You'll love this, Laura. Really, you'll love the book. I can't recommend it enough. Now we got about 10 minutes, so I'm going to keep you a little bit longer, Miss Aida, because of the I said it right. Did I say it right? Yeah, it's already. Yeah, we got 10 minutes left in the show, so I'm going to keep you a little bit longer because Miss Aida, because I'm saying your name correctly.
Yeah,
Finally.
oh yeah, yeah. I can't believe we've been talking. It seems like we've only been talking 10 minutes.
Well, that's what happens when you and I start talking
Yeah,
together.
I forgot. Okay.
Oh, but I want to talk about. It's funny because of course, everybody knows that my collection is unusual, and about objects, and it's so scary because I know so many people that bring these objects into their homes, and they're innocent. They have no clue about why or how. And I'll just show everybody one wall of my collection, if with your permission. This is what it looks like as I'm looking over my monitor. This is what I see. And those are all on the right. Those are all more haunted objects and Ouija boards, and in the middle is my puppy dog Winifred, and on the left are pieces from haunted locations and things from my friends, like the late Ray Buckland, and of course Lorraine. But I know what I do, and I mean I sit, I pray, I use holy water. I do the New Orleans thing where I get 7 different, I get holy water from 7 churches. I use selenite in there, to hold everything down, to, everything's calm. But with me, I think it's because it's more intent, because I love the pieces so much that when I get a piece, it's like, oh my God, I can't wait to put this on display. I can't wait to show people, because I don't, exploit them. I mean, I'll take them with me as examples when I speak, but I mean, I don't exploit them. This is not a wow factor or anything. They're just like part of my family now. What would you suggest? Let's say something, somebody brings something into their home and they start getting that ick feeling. They're starting to get sounds. They're starting to get the dark shadows that kind of accompany them, maybe voices. What would you suggest that they do outside of like throwing it out and let the garbage men worry about it?
Get rid of it. I mean, for anyone who's a novice and doesn't know how to deal with it, get rid of it. Just get rid of it. And I have tips in the book also on what to do. The one thing that I'm going to tell you something. I have the book too, so yeah. The one thing that I emphatically stress is never verbalize your plans in front of that object. Never.
Everything is vibration, because
Right.
Everybody wants to do this, thinks the Svengali thing, the telepathy thing is so strong. It's your voice. Your voice is all vibratory,
Right.
and
Right.
if everything is living, which I believe it is,
Right.
they can hear it. They understand what's going on.
And so let's just say hypothetically, and let's just say this lighter is haunted, and
I have a couple that are haunted, and
Wow.
I have duct tape that's haunted, but that's
Okay.
another story there.
I shouldn't use the duct tape. Let's say, this container. This container is my skull ashtray. So let's say this is haunted, and I know it's haunted. And then I call you up, Tim, and I say, Tim, my lighter is haunted and I'm going to get rid of it. So what's going to happen? The entity that's in this lighter is going to find another container. So that's why you never, never verbalize your plans. Just do it. Make it a surprise attack.
Exactly.
I don't suggest for any novice to start dealing with it. You're an expert. You're an absolute expert. You know what to do. Most people don't. Get it out of your house.
It's like Ouija boards. I mean, I've got quite a few here, and I mean, people have come up to me and they go to me, well, it was just swearing and blah blah blah. So I took an axe to it and broke it. It's like, why did you do that? Whatever is contained in that vessel is now out there looking for something else to inhabit. You can't do that,
Right. Oh boy, not good. Not good.
But that's what people don't understand. a lot of people will go and they think that by throwing these objects in the fire, it purifies them. It doesn't. It releases it.
Exactly. Yes.
And again, something else that we do, and I mean, I talked to you about it the other day, was
Right.
something that's a little bit more, I would say, troublesome. And that's all I'm just going to say is troublesome, because I don't think anything is inherently evil that I have. I mean, I think everything's happy here. I will use holy metals. Again, St. Benedict metal, St. Michael's metal, Our Lady of Victory, which is associated with a person who is on the fast track to becoming a Roman Catholic saint. I put the metals on there, and I go and I spray it down with holy waters because they are a Christian Catholic metal. I use that. So I mean, you do these things because, and people just don't. They just don't get it sometimes,
Well, you
And
treat it like you would treat a human being. So
right.
if you threw me in the fireplace, what would I do? I would run out. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, things like that. It's like, okay, what if this, picture it. What if this were a human being? How would I treat it? How would that
Exactly.
or whatever is in there, how would they react to your action? What is the reaction to that action? That's the way you have to think.
You have to. And I mean, there are certain ways of doing it. And I mean, again, crossroads are so important. Anything that's a sign of the cross is so important. And running water is so important. If you're going to dispose of something, and that's what I do, like with healing stones that have lost their color, put them, I throw them in. We got the Niagara River here. So, I mean, I just put them in there so that it actually is able to go and flow away and recharge itself. Okay. Now, the reason why I want to keep you a little bit longer, because of the fact that this, I feel, is so important. We're living in an age where people are living longer. But not only that, the people are in hospital because of COVID. People are in hospitals right now. You have hospices going on. You have in-house caregivers. You have family caregivers. Would you talk a little bit about what can happen to a caregiver when they're working with these illnesses, whether they be in the physical, the mental, or the spiritual, and how can they help themselves? Because I think that's so important that people, you just don't let yourself be part of whatever's going on when it comes to that. I feel that you need to bolster your armor in a way, or get help from, other sources. So let's talk a little bit about that.
So, as a caregiver, you have to recognize the needs of the patient. And well, thank you, Bill. Thank you so much. You have to recognize the needs and what has been stripped away from the person who is infirm. So, their self-esteem, their need for love and belonging, their need for stimulus. So they're at the very basic bottom of a pyramid, if you will, and they're striving just to stay alive, for survival, and they're scared, right? And what do? They do anything they can for the attention of the caregiver, and a lot of times it doesn't happen, especially in hospitals, because hospitals are understaffed. So they will provoke the caregiver. They will be demanding of the caregiver. They can be insulting, verbally or even physically assaulting. Exactly, Peg Herman. Their need for dignity is suffering. Oh my God, that is so beautifully said. Thank you. So what happens now? They're suppressing the aura of the caregiver, and that's why we always say you have to have a thick skin to be a caregiver. But unfortunately, nowadays, a lot of patients are sent home to their families without any type of instructions whatsoever. They're not prepared to experience what they will normally experience. So what happens? The caregiver becomes angry. The caregiver becomes retaliatory. And as it goes on and on and on, the bright, shiny aura of the caregiver is now suppressed. And as a caregiver is the recipient of more and more negative energies and negative stimulus that is being emitted by the infirmed, now they are spiritually injured. So again, you have to recognize some of the needs of the infirmed, and I have the needs in the book, and they're not a big deal. I'm talking about sunlight, music, television. They're little things that are missing, and protect yourself. And again, I have all of the little techniques in the book. But as we talked about, it's almost the same as we talked about earlier when someone is throwing their negativity on you. The same thing is happening with the infirmed, doing it to the caregiver. Well, thank you, Laura. Thank you. Yes, where are you in Michigan? I'm outside of Detroit.
You Michigan gals are all cool. That's all I can say.
Oh my God, we got snowed in today, and we're expecting more snow. We had 12 inches, and we're getting more tonight.
No. We got about, I don't know, probably 6 to 8 inches here. So that was more than enough for.
Your wife said it was 50 degrees. That's what she said on my Facebook.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Well,
I'm ready for some 50. Andre has it may sound crazy, but I can relate to that from veterinary medicine also.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And God bless you for working with veterinary. I'm a passionate animal lover, so I have so much respect for you that you work with veterinary medicine. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, before we let you go, let me go and just show everybody some book covers, because I want everybody, these are all available on Amazon, correct?
Right. And if you live out of the country, Book Depository will send Hoodoo Cleansing and Protection Magic. They ship out of the country for free. Hoodoo Cleansing and Protection Magic is also available in many, many bookstores. So it's not just Amazon, but you can find them on Amazon. Yes.
Well, here we go. This is a little melody of your work. We have Crossing, and I'm going to tell you what. Again, I didn't realize I had this. I had it. I read it, and I must have put it off to the side, and I never even remembered even having it. But it's in my bookcase. Here's another one that's in my bookcase. Little did I know that we were going to cross paths.
Isn't that something?
And this one actually is pretty good. I'm not going to lie. I kind of like this one, and I've shared some stuff out of this one. I'm not going to go into it, but yes, I have. And here is her latest book. And again, I want everybody to go out there, write this book down, write the name of this book down seriously, and buy it, because it is. And guys, you guys know me, man. I've read so many books. I get a chance to rub elbows with some pretty crazy people, and this book is tremendous. I absolutely love it. I'm not going to lie to you. And her website, I have it on the down there on the ticker tape at www.missaida.com.
Oh, you said it wrong that time.
Miss Aida, I'm sorry. No, Miss oh man. I'll get it. Oh my God.
And if you want to see my live every other Sunday question and answer on Facebook, it's Miss Aida Psychic.
Miss Aida Psychic.
And I do a live question and answer every other Sunday.
I just want to let everybody know, because of her, the dollar store no longer has toy bears, because Miss Aida, you did an unbelievable show on puppets and dolls, and I sat there and I watched, and you took that teddy bear and how you blessed it, how you gave it life by breathing into it, and then you bound it with duct tape. I was like, dear God, there you go. It was
queen, so yes.
It was so amazing. It was an amazing, and of course, chicken feet. I mean, that's a traditional thing that we all use, and
crossing, yes.
I love that. So, people, if you want to learn, if you're serious about learning, you got to tune in. You must tune in, guys, because I can't push this anymore. Listen, if I could go and I could like sneak into your house every week or every 2 weeks and like get on your Facebook and put it up there for you, I would, but I can't. So I want everybody to know just how wonderful her shows are. Her books are so great. She's a more than a wealth of knowledge. No, oh my God, no, you're more than a wealth of knowledge. And you really, and as an instructor myself, I can get critical on other instructors because sometimes they talk above the student. You know, you never want to do that. People are coming to you because they want to learn. You're right there. The way that you teach is right across, even across the board. And it's not insulting. You don't look down, you don't look up. Everything is right there. And really, if you want to learn, an old dog like me actually learns stuff. So, believe me, it's amazing. And Debbie, it's every second Sunday. It's every second
I
Sunday.
just had one
So
Sunday.
it won't be next Sunday. It'll be the Sunday after. So please, you got to tune in. Oh my God, my Miss Aida, I have to go. And did I say it right? Yeah, I did.
You
Aida.
did it right. Oh,
Yeah.
I said
Well, you
something.
know
Oh,
why? Because I wasn't thinking. Now I'm going to screw it up. But Miss Aida, I want to thank you for being on the show.
it was
This
an
is a thrill. I am so happy. When I asked you, I was like, oh, she's not going to come on my show because she's got enough other stuff going on. And I thought, oh, I was like, well, here, I'm going to throw, I'll just say this week. If it didn't work, I would throw like the week after and then the week after. I would just wear you down. That was my plan. I was just going to keep wearing you down in case
so
you're that
wonderful.
busy.
I want to tell everybody what a sincere, honest, caring person Tim is. I mean, he's one in a million, and I'm sure your friends know this, but I've never connected to anyone this fast. I mean, he's just a good man with a good soul. I just wanted people to
Oh,
know.
thank you. That's high praise. That's super high praise coming from you. And it's
Really.
so funny. But again, we were talking the other night and I had to dab like the tears out of my eyes. We were laughing so hard and we were talking about so much stuff. And what's crazy, and I'll tell you when it's the best because it's almost like it's two people trained differently, but understanding the basics of everything that's going on and respecting how everybody does different things, different traditions. That is why I think we got along so well immediately, and I think that's what really, again, people have to understand the warmth of you and everything. And I really hope that people understand your worth. And I'm hoping that people, you get a chance to get out there and get a chance to speak to everybody and share your truth. And really, people have so much to learn from you, And that's what I really, that's what I'm hoping for, because I won't lie. I'm selfish. I want to learn more.
Right. We
So,
all want to feel, we all ought to feel that way because we can never stop learning.
no, we can't. Now,
You
Miss Aida, please stay
know
up.
everything. If you know everything, then,
Well, I would say I would say a couple of my friends would say I know everything, but that's that's only because
they want
that
money.
most of the time it's bail. That's what they want, not a loan, bail. That's what they're looking for. That's my family, and we're not going to go into that any further than that. We are. So, Miss Aida, please stay on the line. I want to thank you properly, talk to you off the air, and I'm going to do a little closing. So, thank you, and
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored and humbled. Thank you so much.
everybody loves you. That's all I got to say. And there's nothing to not love. And that's what I love about you. So, okay, hang on there just for a few minutes. And I'm going to just say goodbye to everybody. And
Sure.
bye, Miss Aida. Well, isn't she great? She's probably one of the most fascinating people I've met in a very long time. I got a chance to learn from her. Again, her books are fantastic. I'll bring it up one more time. Self-promotion, or a little promotion for these books. Buy this book. This I highly recommend. I highly recommend this book. And I want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight. And little prayer at the end. Mother, Father, God, you know them by 1,000 other names. Give relief, give solace, give peace to those who are suffering, who are sick, and help everybody down in the South. They're not prepared for this stuff. I mean, they're just not prepared for it. So, you know, all those who are warm, hope that that are cold, hope that they find shelter. Everybody who has lost food or whatever, I pray that they have meals. And let's send a little prayer for our politicians as always, because we're not going to get political, but they definitely need it. So anyway, we do that in love and light. And I want to thank everybody on there, and we'll see everybody Tuesday, guys. And where else? At the Black Cat Lounge. And this is Tim Shaw saying, have a great evening. See you next week. Ciao, babies. Love you all.